Alright guys, I had a bunch of parts come in, and along with that shipment was my new cylinder heads. These are a CB Performance head. They're referred to as the Los Bandidos. It's an old 41 style head. It's got a, bigger valves. These have already been cut for the 94 millimeter cylinders and pistons. One thing I want to show you about these, I don't know if you can see through these holes. The air's supposed to pass through here, and which this head isn't plugged off. Some of these, this will be actually plugged off, the casting, to where you can't see through the other side. What I'm going to do, I've got my Rotozip with the flex shaft, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in and clean that little bit of casting out of there. I've got to get all this taped up though on the intake and exhaust ports. I'm just going to throw a valve cover on here real quick just to keep any metal out of it whatsoever. I'm going to have to be working on both sides of this head, to be able to reach it all and get all that cleared out. Which, this one's pretty good, but the thing about this is I've heard it said that you can actually cool the head by 80 degrees when these are good and clear. And if they're plugged up, you can really have an overheating problem. Also, it's got long reach plugs in it too, so that's cool. It's a pretty good head. Alright guys, there's my cooling kit for the where I'm full flow in the case. I've got the oil cooler, a little bit of hose but not nearly enough. You've got your bypass. That's for the top of the block for the oil to pass through, but I'm going to be routing that a different way, so I'm not going to be using that part. But I've also got the adapter for the oil filter. New push rod tubes. Got to get these painted up. I don't want them rusted. Let's see, there's the exhaust. That's a really good sounding exhaust. I've used that 3-4 times, different engines. Cooling tins, got to get these painted up to match our paint job on the fan shroud. Got my angled oil fill. This is really helpful. It goes, it mounts like that, and then you have one of your vents here to vent the crankcase. You've also got on these valve covers that came in back here on the back sides of the motor. I've got to drill these out and get the fittings in them to go with my distribution box, which I'll show you that in a minute. I've got the alternator stand. Got one of those. Set of plug wires. Dipstick. I've got my coil came in. It's back here. I'll show you the coil I'm going to be using on this. I'm going with the old standby, the Bosch blue coil. That's guys been using those coils for years. It's a good coil. Had to get me a alternator strap today. Gasket kit, and this is the distribution box I was telling you on the alternator stand. This is going to have these fittings. You put these in the valve cover. Each valve cover gets one of these fittings. You'll have one out the alternator stand. I'm going to be using one I'll probably put on top of the block. I'm going to get an adapter where the fuel pump usually sits. I'm going to be venting it there as well. Also, while I was out, I picked up just a universal switch. That's for my Cub. I told you my Cub, the key broke off, so I'm just going to put universal switch on it. Hopefully get it running tomorrow, maybe. Also, I got a couple of oil filters. One, I need to change the filter on my dad's 1915, and I had to have one for this. So that's the Fram HP1. You can use the PH8A. It's a little cheaper, but I prefer the Fram racing filter. A lot of flow with that. So, and it filters good as well. So anyway, I'm gonna get to work on the heads. Guys, I hope you can see that. I'm not sure how well the camera's focusing, but I've got pretty good flow through there, and that's not to say anything towards CB Performance. They've always I've always found them to make really, really good products. But it's, you know, I mean, I look at it like it's just a small step, you know, to do with, and you're reaping the rewards. But what I did, I just sacrificed one of my gaskets, threw a valve cover on there, and covered up my intake and exhaust ports. I just didn't want anything in around my valve stems or anything like that, getting in the valve guides, whatever. Just a preventative measure. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other head, get these things boxed up and put away, and then I'll probably start on these. I gotta get these taken apart and get them all cleaned up. Guys, I want to show you just for giggles, I guess, the difference in these heads and what the difference is going to be with the engine. This valve measures about 1 9/16 across compared to this valve. Oh my, that's just the valve only. This valve's a 1/4 inch wider across the face of it. And as far as the cylinders go, you're looking at about 3 15/16. As far as these are going to be 94 millimeter pistons and cylinders, compared to this was a 1500 cc engine. This is going to be a 1915. This cylinder is what, 3 and right at 3 and 11 3 and 5/8, about 3 and 5/8 across compared to 4 inches across. Plus you got the diameter of the valve. It's just going to, you know, it's just, I guess, really just for the sake of knowing that, you know, the difference in these engines, what the difference is going to be, and where the horsepower comes from. You know, with the dual carb setup on this, and it breathing really well with a big can, big valves, good exhaust system, it's going to be it should be a beast. Alright guys, I'm working on the rocker shafts here. I've got this one disassembled. Here's the one that's all together. You can see how cruddy it is, but the way I'm taking it apart, I want to put it back together the same way that it came apart, because these have this is worn on this section of the shaft specifically. If I mix all these around, I'm going to be causing unnecessary wear on the rocker shaft. It's not really that big a deal, but there's no point in causing a problem when there is none. So you can see I've got this they cleaned up pretty good. It's a whole lot better than what I was looking at, but I'm just washing them up in a little diesel fuel here. Now these really don't matter, you know, the way these go together is just you've got a flat washer, a wavy washer, and another flat washer. Okay, those I'm not worried about. It's just the position of which rocker on which section of the shaft, which I do need to get this cleaned up too, but I'll keep working away here and we'll see what we can do. Well guys, I guess you can see by the lighting there in the street light, it's snow is really peppering down here. It's about 2:30 in the morning. Having trouble sleeping, so that's why I'm out in the garage working. Alright guys, I got everything cleaned up. I'm going to start assembling everything. I need to go ahead. I got one of my clips on. Just push that over the rocker shaft. We'll get some of this white grease here. Kind of just lubricate all over the shaft here. Okay. Slide one of your solid washers, a wavy washer, and then another solid washer, and you're ready for your rocker arms. Okay. Now this is going to be a bit spring loaded. You can see, let me move it a little closer. You've got to mash that wavy washer when you go in with the other side to get this clip on. So let me go ahead and get a little more white grease. Your other rocker arm, then you're ready for another series of washers. Okay, now what I've got to do, the only tricky part is compressing this back and then getting your other spring clip on. Not a big deal, it's not hard to do, but it's not as easy as the first. There we go. Now all we got to do is repeat the same process for this end of it, and then we'll have it assembled. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the other rocker shaft here and just show you the difference. I wouldn't want to put any greasy, grimy parts in a fresh build ever. That's never a good idea. So you know, you're just contaminating a brand new engine with filth. One thing about it, you know, the advantage of going with like a full flow system on a VW is that you get your oil filter, a good oil filter. You know, on a regular, the standard air-cooled old engine, the way they came out from the factory, they didn't have an oil filter. You just had a screen in the bottom of the case there, which isn't really doing a very good job, you know, and it really is an engine killer. But with the filter, like I showed you earlier, a big frame HP1, that's going to filter your engine really good. So anyway, that's it on the rocker arm assembly. Excuse me, on the rocker arm assembly. I'm just going to repeat the process on this one, and I'll have them ready to go.